Let's be real. Have you ever asked yourself why you keep creating the same relationships over and over again and you're not happy? Have you ever asked yourself that? Because it's like it's a different person, but it's the same pattern. Maybe you feel unseen, unappreciated, or like you give more than you receive. I want you to hear this with love. You don't get what you want in relationships. You get what you believe you deserve. And that one hit hard for me because I was in a marriage for 20 years. Yes, I have two amazing kids from it, but I was not happy, especially towards the end. I probably stayed a lot longer than I should have. And maybe some of you can relate. And I'm sorry because, man, I remember that turmoil and that pain and that feeling like, well, obviously praying, like, God, help us. Right. And I realized, of course, I was blaming, I was the victim. I've grown a lot from that, right? I know that I am very responsible for who I was and how I showed up. But then I started dating and I started kind of attracting the same kind of people in a different way, right? I knew my value a little bit more and but I would start seeing the same patterns, right? I started not trusting people. And I was like, gosh, this is so horrible. For years I thought if I could just love harder, do more, or be enough, I'd finally be chosen and cherished. And I did feel that way in a couple relationships, right? I kind of ignored red flags though. I gave more than I received and I lost myself trying to prove my worth. I really did. But deep down, I didn't believe I was worthy of healthy, peaceful love because I think I would have had that had I believed in it and I would have attracted different people. But that belief kept attracting situations that kind of confirmed it, right? When I finally got quiet and asked God to show me the truth, He said, you're already loved. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. How many of you want to be affirmed in your relationship, right? Sometimes you have to hear it over and over and over. I'm words of affirmation. That's my love language. So it feels really good when people tell you how much they love you, but this was kind of the beginning of my healing. And then I had a coach that really helped me get crystal clear on my vision and what I wanted in a relationship, which was so helpful. And now I help women do this as well because I am now in a relationship that I'm very blessed. It's been about a year. And I really just want women to know that you are so, so worthy. I had no idea. Now, for me, I am a Christian woman. So for me, a lot of well, pretty much all the relationships I had before did not have faith. And I thought it had to look a certain way. Like we want our spouse, men, partner to be loving and kind, obviously, right? But it's like we want them to show up in a certain way. We want them to have confidence and we want them to lead, right? And we want to be able to trust them with integrity. And for me, I needed a man that was faithful and had God in their heart because I knew what that did for me. And I personally needed that, but I had to get crystal clear on that. And I had to say no to everything else. And that was hard because you go out on dates and you're feeling it with somebody, but does he cross this box or this? And what is the priority and what's important to you? And then you kind of have to say no to everybody else because if you're in a relationship that's not serving you, that you're not happy, you're blocking everything else. Like, why are we wasting our time in relationships that are not serving us? So if there's a red flag that you're ignoring, you might want to really get quiet and be like, God, what are you showing me right now? And it's hard. I remember I had a couple long-term relationships after my divorce, 2 years and then about 8 months. And it was tough because they were very loving and kind and I was treated very well. But with both of them, I really just lost trust. And again, they didn't have the faith that I had and it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. So when that ended, I had to get crystal clear on what do I want. But here's what I learned, right? So your relationships mirror your internal beliefs. If you believe love means struggle, you'll find struggle, right? If you believe people always leave, you'll subconsciously push them away. But when you believe you're worthy and you're valuable and you're enough, you naturally attract people and energy that reflect that truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate and what you believe about yourself. So as I really started to love myself and know my worth and my value because God tells me who I am, nobody else. And I showed up with confidence and I knew and I attracted somebody that is confident, that's loving, kind, has God in their heart. And I can be authentically me. There's nothing better than being truly authentic to who you are. And some of us are still figuring that out, right? We're on a journey like, who am I? What am I here for? I'm a mom, but they're going off to college and barely home. So who am I besides a mom and besides a full-time employee, whatever you do, whatever your occupation is, right? Some of us are still figuring that out. So I was like conforming to who the guy I was dating was. You know, if he liked football games, I'd go do that. If he wanted to go do this, I'd go do that because I was still figuring out who I was and not knowing, not feeling like I was valuable enough to say, like, hey, I really want to do this, or hey, this is really important to me. I was finding my voice. I know so many of you can relate. And I just want to say, you're not alone in this. Like the more and more people I talk to and I hear people's hearts and we're in relationships that just are not serving us. And sometimes it's helpful to have a coach or a mentor or a friend, you know, outside of it that can see something that maybe we can't see with our blinders on. I have a dear friend that has walked with me through all of this, and she's so, so good at just helping me and sometimes seeing things that I don't see. So, you know, I want to be that for you. I want to help you. I want you to get crystal clear on you're worthy and you're valuable and you get to show up in that energy of I'm confident. You know what? If it's not him, it's somebody better. And I truly believe like who God has for us will not pass us up, right? So God didn't create you to settle for half-hearted love or constant chaos. You know, I remember I think because my marriage was so like dramatic chaos, when I have a peaceful relationship, I'm almost like, is this normal? I have so much peace in my heart. And I almost like created drama and chaos, like literally. I almost like sabotaged some of these relationships because I thought love was chaos or constant drama. But God created you to experience connection and love and joy and peace and grow with that person, right? Sometimes He'll even remove people not to hurt you, but to heal you, to make space for what's meant for you. And this is friends too. I don't have a big circle of friends anymore. I don't trust very many people, especially after divorce. You find out who your friends are. Anybody else? And I treasure the family and friends that have been through there with me through it all. But it's okay if people come and go. There are different people in your seasons, different seasons, and sometimes we upgrade and we grow and we attract different friends, different friendships, and different people in our life, right? Based on who we are and who we're becoming. So that's okay. When I started believing, you know, I deserved respect and honesty and joy, my relationships transformed. And again, I didn't have as many because not a lot of people are. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm not, but I am on a journey for growth and I am on a journey to be God, who God created me to be and be authentic in that. And like, if you're not about that, that's okay, but you're not for me, you know? It's about isn't it like the five people you spend your time with really kind of are like who you are, right? So if you're around people that are like negative Nancy, sorry mom, that's my mom's name, but you know, like negative and just not serving you, you might want to take a look and you might, or maybe that's you, right? But your belief is the foundation of your boundaries. So here's your prompt for today, right? Write this question at the top of your journal. What story am I telling myself about love and connection? You know, then ask, is that story based on truth or on pain from my past? Because that's where your healing begins. So tomorrow in day 4, we're diving into health beliefs. Healing starts in the mind because your body hears everything you think, and what you believe about health and rest is shaping your energy right now, right? So subscribe, comment below. I'm ready to believe. I'm worthy of healthy love because the way you see yourself will always determine the love you allow. That's powerful, right? How we see ourselves, just like I said yesterday, our bank account or our income dictates our worthiness. The relationship you're in is also based on how you love yourself and how you see yourself. It's been a blessing. I love this. So yeah, tomorrow's day 4 already. Oh, so, so good. I hope this inspires somebody. If you've watched this long, if you've watched day three, one, two, three, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Um, I just want to share my story. I just want to impact some people. You can always go to believeindailypay.com. That's the online business I have where I really am helping moms earn an income online. But you have to have those beliefs and you have to probably be in a good relationship in order to be supported and believe you're worthy of all this, right? And have the health that we'll talk about tomorrow. So comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and you can email me once you go to believeindailypay.com. I'd love to have a conversation and invite you into my community on school, Believing Big. God bless.